Donc lorsque je flingue, c'est toute ma putain de nation qui flingue avec moi. Tu vois ce que je veux dire?
Welcome back, everyone. Buddha with 3 rounds. Coach Terry, Jab University. How you been, man?
Cold.
I was gonna say, how's this winter keep on treating you, man?
It's just up and down. Just you need a jacket at night. You can wear shorts during the day.
Right. But hey, boxing. There's still a lot of stuff happening around the boxing world, pro, amateurs. You got a big fight over the weekend. A lot of controversy. People thought some other, the other team won and this and that. So we'll see. But the year's kicking off right, So that's going good. But I do gotta get two things real quick before we get in our guest. Tell us a little bit about Saturday. You guys got a show? You guys got official? You still looking for official?
Yeah, no, I went and got them. How college boxing is set up, most of them are clubs. We're one of 2 teams that gets their money from the athletic department, just like football. So we tend to go to the other team shows. Uh-huh. And we finally hey, let's throw one, save ourselves about 20 grand traveling and all that stuff. So, and the thing is, we didn't have access to Colorado's LBC calendar, and Carrie Berry is throwing a show the same day in Boulder. But we do have officials from Houston, West Texas. So shout out to Augustine Tapia, Alex and Diana Leone. We got Juan and Judy Torres coming from Kansas. Then we got another coming from Arkansas to just kind of save the show for us. But so everybody knows we're going to do the same show again next year, same time, college. You know what I mean?
There you go. Hey, it's a whole thing. And yeah, officials now that are scarce. A lot of shows happening. So, all right. The other thing we'll kind of go on the back end. Just want to make sure we get our guest in, and you're familiar with him, right? Originally from the Texas area, now in
Paso,
Georgia.
Yeah.
So let's bring him in. Hey, Chan, how we doing?
Doing pretty good.
Hey, first of all, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us here for a little bit. This is the only podcast solely dedicated to amateur boxing, so we gotta make sure we talk to people who are doing good. You're definitely been doing this for a while. Coach Terry is definitely very familiar, and anybody who follows the amateur boxing scene knows who you are. But go ahead and say your name, city and state, and the name of the gym that you train at.
My name is Cavante James. Most people know me as K-Dot. I'm originally from El Paso, Texas, but now I live in Georgia, and I train out of Mustafa's Boxing.
Okay, all right. And first question I ask everyone, how do you get involved? How do you get started with boxing?
It's a long story. So my sister, she was watching Rocky one day, and I walked in on her watching Rocky, and I asked her what she was watching. She told me it was Rocky. I asked her if I could sit down and watch it with her. I fell in love with it. It was Rocky 3 with Clubber Lang. Then my dad was at work that day. He came home, and I told him, "Oh, Dad, guess what I watched? I watched Rocky." Then he asked, "Have I seen all the other ones?" I was like, "No," because I didn't know there was more. He showed me Rocky 4, and I just fell in love with it. Just from there.
Okay. Here you go.
Man, this is cool because, I know Dot since forever. His first fight was on a show I threw in El Paso. Him and my son are only 4 days apart.
Man.
And I always say to me, what's wrong with this? Who's this grown little man that came in? And he had mannerisms that were just different, what I mean? So it's cool to just be interviewing him. He's been doing this thing for a long time now.
Oh yeah.
That. What is your favorite thing about this sport? Because you got social media unlocked. You the one. I don't know. You could probably got more national titles than you got toes. You know what I mean? You've been doing it forever and a day. What is your favorite part about this?
Just getting to beat people up and not get in trouble.
My man, 100 grand. Yeah.
Be honest.
Also my favorite thing.
Okay. I mean, how many fights do you have so far?
I think I'm at 53 fights.
Okay, 53. You're a junior. Soon going into youth and beyond. So you're gonna accumulate a lot of experience. And if if anybody sees you competing, you can tell that there's a lot of experience behind already at this young age. So if somebody hasn't seen you compete, what kind of boxer are you? What's your boxing style? What are you trying to do when you get in there to compete?
I'm a real counter puncher. I counter punch a lot, but we're starting to work on my jab and start pushing the pace now.
Okay. Hey, so you get the rare opportunity to like have moved between two different places, experience multiple boxing scenes, right? You came from a heavily Hispanic area in El Paso. Now you in where all the rappers live in Atlanta. Like, can you talk about the El Paso boxing scene, what it's like, what the Atlanta, Georgia boxing scene is like, and like the difference between the two?
I'm gonna be honest, the boxing scene isn't much different around here. They got fights. I mean, you got Lugo down here. He throws a lot of good shows. And the style is a lot different, especially with my coach going from Coach West to Coach Mustafa. Coach West was mainly a boxer, counterpuncher. Now Coach is telling me to push the pace, like I said, and just he's with the old school style, the cross blocking, pin the jab, front hand defense.
Okay, that's good stuff. Hey, and it's all on the internet. He be showing it too, man.
Yeah,
I love to watch him coach, man. He be just man. He really be talking to y'all, teaching good stuff, man. I really like it. I'm glad that's where you went.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Yeah. It seems like you're at a great place. A lot of knowledge, and you see some of those videos and a lot of drills, right? And we talk a lot about that. Just a lot of repetition, because just trying to ingrain those instincts into your muscle memory, and it seems like that's a great approach. And now seeing you more recently, there's a lot of real good boxing happening right there, and just getting started. So,
Yes,
50 plus bouts. Do you have a bout that stands out to you? You have a memorable win or one maybe that you didn't win, maybe you learned a lot from? Anything that stands out?
I'm gonna say one that really stands out to me is the fight with KK. KK is a great fighter, and just it was a nice even fight, and just it shows me what I have to do more.
Yeah, that's a name we hear a lot too.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all gonna fight a million times more because y'all little. You know what I'm saying? Hey, real quick, how much do you really weigh? Cause I know y'all ain't much close. Y'all ain't really 100 pounds. And I also remember when we tried to fight you about. I was like, you got anybody at 43 pounds?
So last time I checked my weight, I was at 101 exact.
Okay, what's your clothes on?
No clothes on.
Oh, you really got over 100 pounds?
Yeah, but
you really
probably when I'm working out and like in camp, I'm probably walking around like 98, 99.
Okay. I remember we was looking for about at 43 pounds. And how tall have you got? Because you used to be a little something. You still little, but you didn't grew some.
I'm about 5'4", 5'5", almost.
Okay. And so you in school still, right? You still go to public school and stuff like that?
No, sir. I'm homeschooled now.
You homeschooled now. So homeschool, you living a life. What's the day in the life of K Dot look like?
Wake up about 7 o'clock, do all my whatever I gotta do, brush my teeth. If I take a shower that morning, I'll take a shower that morning and wash my face and all that, and then I log into class at 8 o'clock, and then it's just regular classes from there.
And then what time you hitting the gym, when you run and all that stuff?
I get off of school at 3:35, and normally I leave the house around 4 o'clock, get to the gym around 4:45-ish, depending on traffic, because traffic down here is bad in Atlanta. And I'm normally there from like 5-ish to like 8 o'clock.
And you running you running before you log into school, or you running after you get off, or after the gym?
Running at the gym.
Okay, that's what's up.
All right. And when you first started, you said you just you see the Rocky movies, just want to get in there and just kind of probably throw hands at somebody and just kind of let it go. But when did this start to become serious? Right? There's a moment. There's a lot of setbacks in this sport. There's a lot of outs. If you really are not about this boxing life, there's a lot of opportunity to say, you know what, I'm just gonna jump. But you stuck around. You're here. It seems like you're not going anywhere. So what was there a moment where you kind of something switched and said, you know what, I'm gonna dedicate, put a lot of more effort into this sport?
I think it was my first tournament. It was a ringside tournament, and I came up short that tournament. I was just like, it was just shocking to me in the tournament in general, like just being my first tournament. And I was just like, yeah, that's really what I want to do. So I had to just lock in from there. It's just been at it since.
Okay. So you got, I'm very familiar with Wes. I remember, matter of fact, you know what's funny? I got your first amateur fight. I was the matchmaker for Wes's pro debut too. You know what I mean? So,
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's crazy, right? So you go from this counterpunching boxing style, moving to Atlanta, getting with Mustafa with this old school, you know, real, I guess, back when boxing was at its heyday type style, and like, what was the transition like?
And be honest with you, I'm still transitioning now. I'm still getting a lot of stuff down. It's starting to click now. Now that I've been with him going on 3 years, but I mean, it was hard at first. Like the timing and all that is just hard for the catches, parries, and all that. But I'm getting there.
Are you getting now? And do you feel like, because like we see that style, we don't see it as much as we used to, but we see that style in the pros. Like, are you finding, because of the scoring system, you're having to find ways to adapt that style to the amateurs?
Yes, sir. A lot.
Yeah.
All right. And another thing, because the sport keeps evolving, right? We had open scoring kind of introduced not too long ago. That's a different approach as to kind of how you, more on the coach, how they kind of guide the bout to make sure that they'll put you in a good position to win. So did open scoring change anything for you? You were transitioning to a new coach or anything. Did that help, or do you guys use it to your advantage? For coach to kind of give you some instruction to make those modifications when the judges are not seeing what you guys are putting out there?
Yeah, it works sometimes, but sometimes we don't use it. My dad just normally tells me just so I'm notified and like, all right, if I got to lock in, I got to lock in now. But Coach Mustafa, he emphasizes just staying calm and just going out there and do what I have to do. Just stay calm, just listening to him. That's mainly what he enforces.
Okay, so let's talk about all this Dog merch. You know what I'm saying? So I want everybody to tell everybody a story. Like, Dog started fighting, his daddy was selling shirts. I was like, give me one, right? It took 4 years to get my shirt.
Oh, man.
And then you had on this other shirt last time I see you, right? It was like, hey, I just want to put my order in now. I want my shirt. All right. I'm putting it on you. You're older now. Make sure sir. But like, so we're in a new generation boxing wise, right? We've got YouTubers fighting and making more money and actually promoting literally the biggest women's fight in the history of the sport. We've got Ryan, who, even though he did go through the amateur system, you know what I'm saying, and kind of paid his dues in the amateurs, he kind of, I guess, being really, I guess, active on social media. And I guess it also has to do with him living in the LA area, projected up there. Like, how do you feel like about the importance, or I guess the now necessity of social media in boxing? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Like, and do you find the need for you to like become Twitter famous?
Honestly, I think nowadays, yes, it's a good thing because I mean, in this generation, we're solely all on social media now, and that's where most people get their name out there. Whatever they're doing, a business or anything, that's where they get their name out there. And honestly, me, I'm kind of lay low. I don't really like to be on social media like that. But my dad now, he's like, you're old enough now to just, you gotta push it out there and just keep posting. So I'm trying to get there.
And you know what's funny? I think you already in a good space there, because if you say Cavante James, don't nobody know who that is, but they know who K-Dot is. So you already got known by your nickname. So I think you're in a good space.
Yeah, they gave that to me at a young age. So it's
Everybody know K-Dot.
Everybody know K.
Hey, there you go. Let's go back to this most recent tournament that we had up in Lafayette. Competed at the 101 division junior, and you went in there. Well, just tell us the prep for it. Nationals December. It's the biggest tournament for USA Boxing. How did camp go? How did you feel when the tournaments, you started kind of going through the bouts? How were you feeling? Just walk us a little bit through the tournament.
Camp was good. We worked on a lot of conditioning, pushing the pace since we were pushing the pace this tournament. Just a lot of conditioning, trying to build my endurance up for this one. We went into the first tournament. We fought Naseem Hassan out of Wisconsin, I believe. And I ain't gonna lie, my first fight, I was real nervous. It was my first time in junior at 101. And, knowing you place top 2 or getting first place, you go out there and train at the Olympic Training Center. So it was just a lot of pressure on me. But as soon as the first round, I felt like this is what I was meant for. All these years I've been preparing for is just all my amateur fights that I had coming up to this. It was just, I felt ready. Then I believe we had Prince Nemo from Texas.
Yep.
That was a tough fight right there. I had to dig it out third round, and it really showed. Like after that one, I feel like a lot of people doubted me this tournament and didn't think I was gonna make it this far or that far. That I made it. And I just felt like after that, I solidified myself. And then we had the kid out of Vegas, and that fight was tough. And I don't know, man. It didn't click that fight.
And maybe not this fight necessarily, but when you do get those setbacks, you win a couple, you're feeling good, you're getting deeper into the tournament, but you know that your opponents are as equally as hungry as you to get that win. And if you don't get that outcome at the end, how do you deal with those setbacks? How's that ride home? To make sure that you're getting some good aspects of that loss and not kind of dwelling on it too much. So just how do you deal with some of those setbacks?
Normally it's just a long talk with my dad going on what happened, and just we're like, okay, that's it. It's in the past. We just got to move on. It's just, so we get back to the drawing board. My dad buys all the fights. We go back home, watch all the fights. Even at the hotel, we watch the fight, and we just see what we need to work on. We get straight to the gym.
Okay, so your dad is a big film dude. He been by fights. Honestly, before they were selling Parkway fights, he was recording fights for us in the stands and stuff like that. And film is important. Like, what exactly are you looking at in the film? Are you looking at your reaction to certain tendencies, how to predict or anticipate what this guy's going to do? Or are you just looking at, this is me, this is what I did, this is what I need to do?
We normally look at certain tendencies. I look at what I did wrong, my flaws, and I look at my opponent's flaws as well. Because a lot of the times when I watch film, I look at the fight and I see my opponent do something wrong, and I was like, shoot, I should have did something there. So that's what I normally look at. And like you said, my dad's a big film guy. He films sparring and all that just so I can watch those too. So it's very big.
Awesome. And which is helpful. You got to look at yourself, critique yourself, and because that's how you will learn. You look at all those flaws and try to sharpen them up. But when you're not looking at yourself, you go to these tournaments, you got the best boxers from all over the U.S. competing, every age level. You get a chance to sit down and see some of the other boxers. Do you see, following any of those, or do you watch some pros? Because you have a very, a boxer style. You use the jab a lot, and you're doing all that. So who's influenced you? How are you kind of molding this style that is K-Dot?
Mustafa, he emphasizes a lot of Pernell. I watch a lot of Pernell, and then it's funny that this happens, but my coach also told me I look like Mark Too Sharp, and Terry always used to tell me that I was a mini Too Sharp. He always used to tell me I was a mini Too Sharp, so I watch a lot of him as well, and then especially with the front hand defense, he emphasizes a lot of Andre Ward as well. And then in the amateurs, Marcus Luther, he's a good one. Salim Ellis Bay, them two, that was a good fight between them, and then just a lot of elites and see what they do.
That's what's up. So, like, I've known you since forever, right? And you're boxing guy. Like, what does Dot Dog do when he not boxing? Which is probably very little time, but like, when you're not boxing, what do you do?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. I eat and I sleep. Eat and sleep.
You grew a little bit sleeping.
Yeah, I eat a lot, and then if I'm not doing that, it's depending on what I do. Like weekends, normally I'm either reading or I'm on the game playing something real quick, and then the same thing, eat or sleep.
Okay, that's what's up. Sounds just like a regular teenager.
Yeah.
There we go.
Just sleep your life away.
Hey, that's what it feels like sometimes. Like, man, how many hours did you sleep? But real quick, this is 3 Rounds Live, number 169. We're talking to Cavante James, K. Dot, Atlanta, Georgia, originally from El Paso, Texas, currently ranked number 5 at the junior male 101-pound division. And, you know, it just go down. You know, if you haven't gone to K. Dot's social media, Instagram, just go over there and see. There's some great highlights that was put together of the Nassim bout. You know, you see it. You can see the growth, right? Your footwork is very confident. You're able to move in and out, and the jab is king, right? We were talking about that with Matthew North. Jab is king. You're definitely doing, and you're reaching a comfort level that I tend to see boxers that have been boxing for a while, and it seems to be, you know, you said clicking. It seems like that. So it's exciting to see it as a fan, to see that development. You know, I'm excited to see you at youth, you know, potentially international. Like that's why the you know, we got a little series called Boxer You Should Know, you know, because the talent is insane, and that's yourself included for sure. But you know, you're doing all these drills and getting ready to compete and do all that. You got to be mentally prepared for that, right? So just take us in your mind a little bit when you're getting your hands wrapped. You know, you're a couple bouts out. How are you getting mentally ready to go in there, go through those ropes and compete?
Normally it's okay. So normally I start off like when I'm getting ready and all that. I listen to music just to get me hype. And then once I'm getting my hand wraps, I turn on gospel music. You know, I always got to praise my Lord. I give him all the glory and praise. And then from there, once I finish wrapping my hands, I go back to the regular music that I normally listen to. And then it's just go mode from there. I know when to flip the switch.
Hey, so what's in the headphones? Tell me, gospel artists, secular artists. Tell me what you listening to. I gotta keep up with you young people, so tell me what you listening to.
Okay, gospel wise, it's a lot of old, like Marvin Sapp, all of that. I'm a big Marvin Sapp guy. And then in the headphones, it's a lot of Future, Meek Mill, and then yeah, those are the main.
You like
Can't
Meek
get
Mill yelling at you the whole time. He's yelling all the time. Hey, so like I think when we were doing like the lead up to national tournaments, we talked about certain weight classes, right? We talked about, as it was a youth 125 was crazy, elite 112 was crazy, right?
Yeah.
I think we forgot to mention junior 101. If you go back and look at it, I think y'all had close to 20 in the bracket, something like that.
Yeah, close to 20.
It was a big bracket, but if you look at that, at least 10 of y'all had won a national title at one point in time. Like, that was crazy. Like, what do you feel like knowing, like, these ain't no ducks in this weight class? Like, everybody in here, you know what I mean, can do something. Like, do you approach it different? Like, when you see, man, I got a weight class full of killers in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I seen the bracket, once the tournament draw was over or whatever, I knew I had to lock in. I was like, it's go time now. Like I said, this is what I've been waiting for my whole amateur career right now, is just getting to this where I'm at now. And I just kept looking at the bracket. And it's funny because a lot of us used to run around together after tournaments, just terrorizing stuff. Like,
oh yeah, y'all are some terrorists, all of you.
Yes, we're some terrorists.
But now you gotta fight your homies. Like, what's that like?
Yeah,
it's business. You gotta do what we gotta do. You know,
the businessman. I love it.
That's it right there. You know, there was a video. I think it was a video that you guys had posted, and the caption that you had put was "Nothing to prove, everything to improve." If I'm a coach and I'm, you know, put that speaks volume to your mindset, where you're at. Even though the skill is already noticeable, you can definitely see there's some skill behind it. But when you know, what do you mean by that? You posted it. You know, you guys put it out there. What was the you know, the whole meaning behind it, the influence, why you wanted to put that out? Because normally that's not what you read when you go out and see some social media posts.
Honestly, I feel like now where I'm at, like what I've done in the amateurs, I feel like I don't have to prove nothing to anybody. They should, they should know who I am, especially Kate out wise. And I just feel like where I'm at now, I got so much stuff to improve on, especially soon going into the youth. There's a lot of killers in the youth division, so I got to improve on a lot of stuff and just make sure I'm A1.
Man, K. De La Ghetto. Very poetic. Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like that. Some influencer about to steal your caption right there.
Yeah.
I guess in this boxing journey, right? Like, how do you? I know you can't predict the future, but how do you see it playing out? Like when you watch Rocky to get started, you wasn't watching the Olympics to get started. Like when you see this playing out, like what are the plans, or like what do you predict in the future? Is it 2028? Because you and Terry right up at the same way, y'all be like 20 years old when that comes around. Like, are you gonna stay around that long? Was the Olympics ever part of your game plan, or you just like Terry? I just want to fight with my shirt off. Like what? Like in this journey, where do you see it playing out?
So originally, like back when I was little, it was always the Olympics. I always wanted to go to the Olympics. But now I'm getting to an age where I'm just like, I'm ready to, go pro after a while. But my mom's emphasizing that I got to do the Olympics, so I'm going to do the Olympics, and just wherever God takes me from there is just from there.
That's right.
Take it day by day.
What was that?
Yeah, you got to listen to the boss. If mom says the Olympics is the plan, I think the Olympics are planned. Nobody know better than your parents. You know what I'm saying? And where your dad on as far as the Olympics goes, is that because he's in the corner too? You know what I'm saying? Like we give West credit, we give Mustafa credit. Coach Rock be in there coaching, dog. I don't know. I think he get overlooked because he likes to let the other guys like be in the corner and stuff like that. Your daddy can coach. You know what I'm saying? He wrap hands. He do it all. Like where's he sitting? Like, is he pushing the Olympics, or he just gonna let it fold out? Like, cause he's in there too. Like he's been on this journey with you the whole time. And believe it or not, like Rock can coach, man. So like, where he's sitting at this?
He's taking it day by day with me as well. Just seeing where it plans out after each tournament, we just see what happens. And he emphasizes Olympics too, but he's just like, if that's not what you want to do, then that's fine. But no, I'm with you, whatever you choose to do.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Rock out there getting skinny on me.
Definitely. And just to piggyback a little bit with that, you can't win them all, right? It's amateur boxing. You're gonna get some good ones, but there's gonna be somewhere where it just doesn't go your way. But you turn around, your dad's right there in the corner. Your mom is probably nearby. Like, how does it feel just kind of sharing this journey with them? They're right there, making sure, looking at, posting things. Like, they really kind of want to position you in the best possible way to be successful. So just how is it kind of sharing that journey with them as well?
It's very nice. I'm very fortunate to have good parents. Most people don't have good parents like me that I have, and it's just great to spend it. And my dad always tells me he's happy when he sees with me the growth. Like he's been there since I started. So, and he always emphasizes it's always him. It's his reason why he does this, and it's also my reason. So like he's the reason why I go to the gym, because I'm only 15. I'm barely getting to drive, so he has to be able to be the one to take me to the gym. So I love my dad a lot. Both of my parents.
I believe you driving, man. Like, I really can't, man. It's crazy. Yeah. So in this, I guess this has always been like father-son endeavor in sport. And I just something I need to say. It ain't really a question, right? And the narrative, especially in the minority communities, is like dads are absent, right? But what I do notice, because we interview a lot of guys, this is 169 interviews, right? Most of the boxing is showing you otherwise. these dads is there.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think boxing gets because the narrative is the absentee father, but boxing, they present.
Oh yeah.
They all present. So shout out to all the dads and moms, because we've had some mom coaches, too, that, hey, they present. Like, they're present in their kids' life, you know what I'm saying? They ain't in front of a screen. They actually doing stuff active, but they present. They with them at all these tournaments. They raising money for them to get to all these shows and stuff like that. But let me get off my soapbox here, though. Like, at any time, like, you can take a time machine, K-Dot in his prime, in a time machine, versus any boxer in history. Who you calling out?
That's a good question.
I know.
Probably Pernell.
I knew it.
I want to see how good that defense really is against me. Speed. I want to see it.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
That would be great.
Different. He was just different, man.
Yeah,
he was different.
Yeah. That, and that just kind of talks about, the hunger. You want to test yourself against a great. You know what I mean? And if it were possible, I think you'll be right there waiting for your turn to get in the ring, because I'm sure a lot of people will try to test their skills. So, real quick, 3 rounds live, number 169, talking to Cavante K. James out in Atlanta, Georgia, originally from El Paso, Texas, currently ranked number 5, junior male 101. Just real quick, Friday, we're going to be talking to Dylan Colon out of Florida. Next week, we're going to talk to Finest Cummings out in New York. And we're going to have a returning guest, Coach Khalil Harvey. See, there's a lot of things happening in USA Boxing. Let's see what he's thinking. So, this is a demanding sport. I don't have to tell you this. It demands a lot of sacrifice. Tournaments are week long. And all the weeks and months before that just to get ready to be able to perform and compete, but there's going to be some times, even if you love the sport, there's going to be some times where, you don't want to go out and run those miles, or, hey, I want to take a day off today, or, this and that, or you're just tired, or whatever it is, because it's very physically demanding as well. How do you stay on track? How do you stay focused and get back in the gym or get those miles in to make sure that you're on course, because this is a marathon, right? The end goal is not within sight sometimes, but you know that it's there. So how do you make sure that you keep on seeing that goal?
My dad pushes it. Every time I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, I don't want to do this, he always tells me, guess what your opponent's doing right now? And I'm just like, all right, I gotta get up. So I know. It's my dad. It all goes back to my dad.
There we go. Hey.
All right. So, Doc, right? You've been in a gym since before the age where you were allowed to compete, right? You've got experience. You experience different regions. You experience different coaches. Like, you almost an OG now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I do notice in a lot of pictures, like, especially like the sparring pictures, and even at some of the events, like, there's some peewees and some bantams and some intermediates, you know what I'm saying? Taking pictures with you. Like, are you what I say? Are you like Gandalf the Great now, the wise sage? Are you imparting your infinite boxing knowledge on these young, whippersnappers? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you the role model now? Even if because we ran into some older people from your gym. We know that, you know what I mean? Like are you even giving the game to them too? Like, you've been around a minute, man.
I give game to everybody, but I'm normally just laid back, and I'm just a regular kid. But whenever people ask me, I always give them advice. I have people in my Instagram DMs always asking me. People tell me that they appreciate what I do because they can study me and what I do. So it's an honor, but I mean, I'm just a regular kid. But whenever you need information, I'm there.
Yeah, my man, that dog.
There you go. You see yourself coaching later on, after you terrorize the pro level, like everything, you do what you want to do. Do you think you'll come back and, do you have enough patience? Because teaching little kids is no joke. You know, it's wild. But you see yourself maybe doing that, when the time is right.
Most definitely. I feel like
You're gonna be a mean coach, Doc.
no, I'm not. No.
You're the one
I already
slapping
coach
on
some of
with the.
the kids at the gym, so I'm not a mean coach.
wait till you grown and got to deal with some young kids. Doc, you can't picture yourself with gray hair now, but you're gonna have a head full of it.
It goes, it's. I always give a shout out, a lot of respect to all the coaches. They make it happen. All the stuff that's not so nice too. Getting the funds. This stuff costs money to take multiple kids, across the country. So definitely shout out to everybody for putting that effort and giving boxers like K-Dot an opportunity to really shine and really kind of dedicate itself to a sport that is not at school. Let's face it, you got to do this. If you want to do this sport, you gotta, put in the work to get in there.
Hey, yo, real quick, Doc, like, what was the motivation because I homeschool Terry now too, but like, what was the motivation to homeschool? Was it to get the training? I know y'all live close to an hour away from y'all gym too. Like, was that part of it, or was just like a new place, didn't feel like making new friends at school? Like, what was the motivation behind going to homeschool?
Just getting ready for going to Olympic Training Center and because knowing I'm missing those weeks and stuff, so just preparing myself now for when the time comes.
Yeah, proper preparation, baby. Yep.
There you go. Definitely, it's and you strike me like you understand that it's going to take a lot of it's a marathon. It's going to take a lot of work. It's going to be you're not going to do it overnight. It's like those drills that you keep on that you post and stuff. It's very repetitive, very mundane sometimes, right? Because it's just the same thing, it seems like, and then all of a sudden it snaps and you already mentioned it. When you jump into the youth division, you're going to see even more talent, right? That's where you got to keep staying on it. What do you think is going to start separating you from your opponents, right? Because you look at the scoring criteria. Some of these bouts are decided on exchanges, right? Just a few exchanges could make the difference. What do you think is going to make it easier for the judge to say, okay, you know what? There's no doubt that K-Dot dominated this round. What's that for you?
Utilizing my jab more. I feel like my coach emphasizes the jab a lot. He normally says if you don't win the jab battle, you really can't do anything. But I feel like that and just putting the pressure now, just and not backing up, not showing the judges, because a lot of people now since Floyd Mayweather time, they see him moving around, they say you're running a lot. So I feel like I just stand my ground and just show that I belong to be there.
Okay, so this is a question, and you're in the ring, and what happens at the end is a result of something you're experiencing live, and you're around two film watching guys, Mustafa and your daddy, right? Do you feel, even with the scoring system, now that it's been, I guess, say dumbed down to a certain point where I guess the boxer with the bag tricks is not getting the credit that they rightfully deserve, or the defensive prowess is not, I guess, recognized in these fights?
Yeah, I feel like that. I feel like just there's a lot of stuff with USA boxing and some stuff they don't look at. I feel like a lot of fighters that are underground fighters that don't get enough credit, they should be getting credit because USA boxing, sometimes some tournaments they have different stuff they look at and that's what they're looking for that tournament. So I feel like it's a big role.
And then like with the judges, do you think it also has something to do with whatever region they come from? Like the prominent style in their region is what they prefer at these tournaments?
Sometimes it depends on the fight. Like when I see it, then I'm like, okay, but I feel like it depends on the fight, really.
Okay.
And you've been long, competing in the sport long enough to see some of that, right? Have you, as far as some of the decisions coming in, right, where leaves you, your head, you're just scratching your head, like, how did I net, get that win? Have you had anything that stand or about that stood out, where a decision you just couldn't understand, like what happened there? Like, how did I lose that bout? And more importantly, how did you kind of, just grow from that, instead of saying, oh, they robbed me, and just kind of take it as something that was taken away from you, instead of using it as an opportunity to kind of learn and say, okay, you know what, I could probably done this to separate myself a little bit more and make it obvious. But have you had like one of those just tough decisions that you were like, what were they watching?
Yeah, I feel like I have. When I was younger, though, it's not really now. Now, a lot of the decisions I see are fair, or something. I know what I did wrong in those fights, but it had to be when I was younger, and yeah, so that's really it.
Yeah. There's a lot of head scratchers out there. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily bouts like I've been in. It's just bouts I'm watching. I'm like
especially this past tournament, there was a lot of head.
There was quite a few. Yeah. And it seems like it's infectious to boxing as a whole. Because this weekend, I thought Michaela won. I was like, you know what I mean? Some good old home cooking is what she got served. You know what I'm saying? So, and so that when you, I guess, when you have the opportunity to, like, have, I guess, free time at these tournaments, like everybody knows you, so I'm pretty sure. What up, Doc? What up, Doc? What up, Doc? But like, are you at the venue? Because well, you still in the morning session now, but soon enough you'll be in the evening session. Are you going to the evening session and actually sitting down watching fights, or are you just like actually pulling it up on the phone and like watching it?
I'm at the venue. My coach wants to be at the venue. I'm at the venue. I'm wherever my coach is at. And then it depends on, like, if I got to fight the next day, we'll be there, because my coach likes to stay all the way to the end. We'll be there from beginning to end. So we just watching fights. And if I got to fight the next day, my dad will take me to the hotel, and then I'll just rest up.
Okay. I know you like guys that you're around people that, hey, we like watching boxing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm pretty sure when you was younger, you was like, man, they dragging me along. I want to go back.
Yeah, I was. When I was young, a terrorist.
Oh man, look, man, we got some stories about y'all. You know what I'm saying? Remember Salt Lake City? You know what I'm saying? Remember Reno, where y'all making the old people fall down? Yeah, we know. Yeah, we got some stories about y'all.
There's a lot of stories, especially like with the 101 division. Like, a lot of us, Prince Nassim, KK, and Shahid Francis, we were all back in Chattanooga. We went behind the concession stands and stole candy and all that. So there's a lot of stories.
Horrible people.
There's
a lot of stories.
Man. Everybody has to, get on the road to get to this term. If you want to be, collect these ranking points, do all that stuff, you got to travel. So you got any road story that you got that, I don't know, something crazy must have happened, or we had who was it that they traveled for work? Team Cartel. They traveled out there for some work, and then everything got canceled. And then they drove back because they were so mad. Like, have you had anything that just kind of, I'm sure everybody has some sort of road trip stories. Anything that jumps out at you?
No, not really. Nothing crazy. I feel like the craziest thing is just how far we had to drive. We drove 24 hours from El Paso, Texas to West Virginia.
Yeah, buddy, that was a long ride.
Yeah, that's probably the craziest.
I had 10 kids in the van. They were stressing. And your boy Terry, we wasn't even out of the county. He was like, "Are we there yet?"
I sleep most of the way on the trip, so
man, that was some long rides, man. Shout out to dads and moms is doing that driving. That is crazy.
That's probably a better question for the coaches or the parents driving, because the boxers, they're probably sleeping. They don't even know until they wake up. And, they're already there. So as well. So what you got, Coach?
Hey, Dot. So, like, I know you've met him, right? Like, and he's probably seen you box, honestly. But what did Mark Too Sharp Johnson say when he saw you? I was like, he was like, this little kid looks like me and he fights like me. Like, what did he say to you?
I don't know everything he said to me. There's only one thing he stood out, and he said he liked the way I fight, and from now on, I'm Mini Too Sharp.
I like that. I like that. You and Too Sharp is like Jamel Herring and Kevin Kelly. It's a long lost relative of yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you got into the sport. You know, you said watching Rocky, and eventually kind of going into it. And there's got to be something that hooks you into a sport like this, right? There's got to be something that gets you in. But if you had a younger kid come up, to you, that they're thinking of, join, a sport, they think, oh, maybe I should try boxing. If you had a kid come up to you, they're thinking about, starting or joining the sport, what would you tell them? How would you, from your experience, what would you tell them about them to kind of get them ready or try to entice them to join? What would you tell them?
First thing I'm gonna tell them is it's a tough sport. I'm gonna just let them know then and there. If they get scared from there, hey, but I gotta let you know it's a tough sport, and you just gotta put your all into it, no matter what. Just put in a whole bunch of dedication. That's really what makes you strive in this sport, is just your dedication you put into the sport. So just work hard and just put dedication in the sport, and you'll see results from it.
At what age did you find that? Because most little kids and the peewees, they just boxing. That's just kind of where they go after school. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you 15, y'all be 16 in May. Like, at what age did you like, yep, coach is right. I gotta dedicate myself to this, to my craft. Like, at what age did you like, yep, this is it?
Think around 10, 11 is when I really I was like, this is it. I have to, just no matter what, because I had went to a day show fight, and it didn't look too good, but and then Wes got on my butt about it, and I was just like, yeah, I got to do better than this. So I just locked in from there.
Yeah, because normally the age you are now is kind of where people were starting to kind of buckle down. But we've seen you years ago kind of, and you don't miss many tournaments. You had most of them, if not all of them, but they tend to do it late in their teenage years, like when it's almost time to turn pro. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sometimes it's a little too late, too late for some of them, but I think we saw you do that earlier. And that's why I was wondering, what age did you always have a kind of serious demeanor. That's why I said you was going to be a mean coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Definitely. As we start kind of gathering our final questions, again, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I think you'll experience it more as you kind of, grow in the amateurs and eventually the pros, if that's, the next step for you. But what do you think the overall impact of all these YouTube boxers, right? There's who was the Saudi Arabian who said, I don't want any YouTubers or whatever.
His Excellency. I don't know.
What do you think is going to be the impact on? Because we just don't have enough data of what is going to happen. I don't know if I don't think anybody has gotten hurt in any of these shows, but boxing is boxing. They say you don't play the sport for a reason. But do you think overall the impact's going to be positive or negative? Do you think it's going to be more like a entertainment side of it? Like, where do you think this is eventually going to grow? Because you're going to go to the pro game eventually, and you're going to kind of be there with the results of it. What do you think it's going to be like?
Honestly, now in this generation, I feel like it'll have a pretty big impact, bring a lot of more people to boxing, especially with the YouTubers that have such a big following, get a lot more people interested. But I don't really care for it like that. I feel like they show somewhat of a different side of boxing where people just think anybody can do it at this point. But it's not really like that. Like with Jake Paul and all that, you see he's with the USA team and all that. I feel like it's going to bring a lot of people, especially of his followers that just want to try it at least. I feel like it'll bring a lot of people to boxing, but I don't really care for it like that.
My personal opinion, it contributes to the deterioration of boxing skills, right? You learn from watching. right? We all got eyes, you know what I mean? Unless you Stevie Wonder, you know what I'm saying? And if that is what's predominantly shown, like, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it contributes to deterioration.
There's already a perception, right, of what boxing is. Now the exposure is on a skill level that is not like K-Dot would just box anybody's head off that's in the YouTube area because there's skills there. Over here is more like brawn. I think about it like it's WWE for boxing. That's essentially kind of what it is. There is probably some positive, but like I said, only time will tell, and we'll see. You know, maybe there's a lot of more promotions where you see some of these YouTube bouts, and then you'll have actual bouts in there. Maybe that's kind of more of a thing. Who knows? But it's something that I think you guys will eventually kind of deal with, and hopefully you guys are not competing for the same kind of purse bids and the money. I think when it comes to that point, now there's going to be an issue because there's only so many dollars going around. So, but you know, that's a conversation we'll just keep on going. So, Coach, you got any final questions?
Because he kind of mentioned the name and the fact that he's with, I guess, USA Boxing. Like, I don't quite understand the relationship, but like in your head, that dog, like, is it why would USA Boxing as a whole benefit from having Jake Paul present? You know what I mean? Like, he never came through the amateur system, so like an existing relationship isn't there. But we have an Andre Ward who got a gold medal in 2004. Mm-hmm. We got a Shakur that got a silver medal. We got Keyshawn that got a silver medal. We got Duke Ray, you know what I'm saying? Clarissa, you know what I mean? Why aren't they being prominently shown or making deals with these guys? Why him? What do you think? Like, and on the other side of the question, like, you think is going to push a lot of people that are already boxers to attempt to be influencers to gain money?
I think mainly this is my point of view with USA Boxing is just a lot of its followers. Bring more people to USA Boxing, give USA Boxing more of a name. And it might bring a lot of other boxers to that influencer life. Like maybe a lot of boxers will start a YouTube and day in the life of an Olympic fighter. You know, so I feel like that's what it might be. It might come to.
That makes sense. You're a wise young man. That does make sense.
Definitely. But for the real boxers, you know, let's go back to that one instead of the WWE guys. But you know, when you're in there growing through the whole process, right? People say trust the process, right? And you gotta believe that there's a benefit at the end of the tunnel, right? Because that's the only way that's gonna motivate you to keep going. But through that process, you're changing. You're becoming a different human because you learning all of these traits that you get in the gym, responsibility, you know, owning up to what you're doing, you know, several things. But what has boxing taught you about yourself? This is something Coach Terry likes to ask, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what do you think boxing has helped you in your development, not as a boxer, not only as a boxer, but as, you know, a human being and a man?
Mannerism, a lot of, you know, just respect for people. Like they say in the ring, your opponent's not gonna respect you if you're just pity patting them. Then, you know, you really gotta show them, like, I'm here to be here. Like, I'm gonna make you respect me. So just respecting other people and just that's really it. Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
great answer.
Yeah.
All the major promoters in the world are sitting across your kitchen table trying to, you know what I mean, trying to decide, like, do we want to sign this kid? Like, sell yourself. Tell them why they should sign Dog.
I bring me. I mean, I'm a hardworking kid. I stay in the gym 24/7. I'm a man of God, and I just strive to be the best I can be.
There you go, my man.
Man, and not, you know, you very well spoken, right? But the skill, I'm just saying, just go to K-Dot. You'll say your Instagram in just a second, but just look at some of those clips. That the skill level is crazy. It's crazy, and it's only junior, so it's the boxing world in the future is going to be happy to just have all this talent be part of the pros and then kind of develop the sport in that manner. So, but when we announced that we were going to have you on, Dad was reaching out. We were sharing, the post. People were, wanting to make sure to tune in. Like, there's a lot of people that they're cheering you on, right? They want to see you win. They're supporting. You're only 15, but you got the whole village right behind you, like really supporting you. How does it feel to have that type of, just support?
Feels great knowing, I mean, especially like in this generation, there's a lot of hate going around. So it shows that I'm doing something right, and I'm just happy to be like a voice of amateur boxing in somewhat for people that are barely coming into the game and all that. So
okay, so I got one last question. This is the one I always ask, but before I get to that, you didn't got too cool for school. You don't even wear your glasses no more. I just want to know. I want you to know that I noticed that. Yeah.
You glasses. I gotta see that.
You can't see nothing, but you just out here. All right. Now that you got a magic wand, right? You could change anything about boxing for the better. I don't care what it is, but you got a magic wand and you can do it. What are you changing?
Oh man, good question.
I know.
What am I changing? It's a good question, man. I don't really know. That's just put me on the spot, man. I ain't gonna lie. Put me on the spot.
Maybe.
I'm gonna give more amateur boxers more chances. I'll do that. Like, I feel like there's a lot of hidden talent that aren't on a big stage, like as in Crawford or any of that. They're not up there with those big names, Boots and all that. I feel like there's a lot of hidden talent that aren't recognized. So I feel like I would change that. Just change the way the game is, because the game is very messed up. But I mean, they say it's a hurt business, so.
Yeah. So you talk about getting, I guess, amateur tournaments or shows on some sort of TV or a platform other than the live stream.
Yes, sir. And either that, or I would change the perception of losses. Yeah. I feel like, especially in the pro game, once you take a loss, they feel like that's it. That's the end of your career. You fall off from there. I'll probably change that.
Yeah, those are both good, really good points, right? And I say that, so I'm about to age myself. So you don't even know about this, right? Back in the early 90s and late 80s, back when I was a whippersnapper, right? They used to ABC Wide World of Sports. And they used to have the dual meet between the United States and USSR, which is the Soviet Union that don't exist no more, and the United States and Cuba on TV, on ABC. Like real live TV. Kelsey Banks and them was fighting in it. You know what I'm saying? Like they had that. You know what I mean? It was on TV. I seen the trials on TV. Like I get it, streaming is where everything's going, but like back then, like it was on regular TV. And those guys became names. You know what I'm saying? The Holyfields, Shannon Briggs fought Felix Savon. You know what I'm saying? There was amateurs, even back in the day, there was amateurs people knew that was challenging Ali, you know what I mean? What's his name? Teofilo Stevenson. Like, I don't think we have that because the platform, we're not on that. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's, and then this is probably just me, but whoever allowed or USA Boxing okayed that you have to pay for bouts, the mere essence of paying to see boxing is hurting the boxers who are boxing, because you're not going to get a fan base if you can't find this stuff. You go, okay, the Mexican National Championships just happened last week. You can go up to their Facebook and see the whole stream. You can see the whole tournament. Can you do that with the national championships? Can you do that with the qualifiers? Not even Mikael Myers said that, when she was hosting, she hasn't seen any of her bouts. Like, I understand that there's NBC owns and all that stuff, but you gotta maneuver something where the thing that's being impacted is the kids not being showcased to anyway, if you're not going to get fans if people can't see it, is essentially what I'm getting into. And if you have to pay for that, even less so. So that's just something that I think will have to get fixed. And I think it's going to take people to demand that, because there's a lot of talent. You said a lot of hidden talent, and the archive is right there. It's literally right there. There's no reason why it should not be exposed. IBA did a great job because all those tournaments are online. You can go and see. I can go see Rashawn Lee against Andy Cruz again if I want to. Those are the things that when he goes pro, he's definitely going to be showing that, right? Because that's what's going to help him get to that next level. So go ahead and get out, your shout outs, your thank yous to everybody that has helped you get to where you're at so far.
First and foremost, I want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior, to the Most High. Without him, I wouldn't be here. Shout out to Wes. He was the first coach I was with. Shout out to Terry for getting me my first fight. Shout out my mom and my dad and my whole family. Shout out Coach Mustafa, and yeah, I'll say that. And shout out El Paso 915.
Oh yeah, look at you, little Aaron Jones head.
There we go. Hey, where can people follow you? Follow the journey. Instagram, Facebook. Where are you at?
Young_DOT_nation on Instagram, and it should be the same thing on Facebook. If not, it's Cavante James, and you'll find me. And yeah,
not hard to find. Just
hard to
put
find
in K dot.
Put in K dot.
Are we gonna see you competing in New Mexico, Albuquerque?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. That's coming around the corner, not too far away, and that's all we got. So Friday we're gonna have Dylan Colon, Florida. He's also fights in the junior male division. I think a little bit heavier than you, maybe 119, something like that. But another kid who has a lot of talent, and the junior division, we were just talking about it, is crazy. And then you start going to the youth, I'm telling you, the talent, it should be criminal that you are not able to see all these bouts.
Yeah, before we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
That dog. You seen the Olympic trials, right?
Yes, sir.
Seen Obed and Amir Anderson, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
You see they didn't let Amir Anderson back up in camp, with he had filed a grievance with a non-partial party or whatever the words was. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel about that?
It's very messed up. I think there's a lot of controversy. It's going to bring a lot of controversy to USA Boxing, bring a lot of eyes to USA Boxing, and a lot of questions as well. And I feel like, honestly, the right decision is Obed, because the ref did wave it off. I mean,
dude, he iced him, didn't he?
Yeah. And honestly, looking back at the fight, which, I mean, you really can't see it. They took it down from your YouTube. They took it down. So
they took down my whole channel.
Yeah, if you look at it, I mean, Amir did lay back. So, I mean, that's the ref. I mean, he would have thought he was out cold, but he wasn't out cold. But I think since the ref waved it off, it should have been Obed. But
yeah, I mean, and that raises another question. If they let Amir back into the Olympic process, Obed beat Stephen Colon the next day. Does he get to go back into the Olympic process?
Now, what I'm hearing,
and then on the other side of the bracket, well, Ethan lost to Nathan, but since you got a third place and a guy that didn't even place coming from that other side of the bracket, can I get back in it too?
Right. And the thing that I've heard, and obviously, see, this is one of the things that USA Boxing, there's no transparency. We have to get little bits and pieces of things, and it shouldn't be like that. That's just one point. But what I'm hearing is that Amir Anderson is going to have a box-off with Stephen Colon. Where does that put Ethan Smith? Where does that put Nathan Lugo, who's already been in camp 2 weeks?
And won the trials.
And
fought his butt off the whole time.
Every other boxer in that bracket, my hat's off to them. I'm not talking anything bad, but I think that was Lugo's tournament. I think it would have been hard pressed to see who he would have met in the finals. I think it's hard pressed to think that the decision would not have the same result at the end of the day. It's unfortunate. The thing that I have a more issue with in that whole situation, aside from the referee, I'm like, okay, you're in the middle of things. He got up. What about everybody else around that ring? I'm sure they saw the wave off and they allowed this to happen. to me, I think it wasn't just one individual. Everybody say, "Oh, the ref." No. There's all those people around. It was not that. It was a whole failure, and it has an impact. The Olympic trials are technically not even over yet. It's crazy.
Yeah, and not to mention, the doctor ran up the stairs. What happened when the doctor ran upstairs? I mean, you got your clock clean. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, it's
plenty of people get the doctor don't end up on their apron.
Yeah, it's wild. So hopefully situations like that don't happen for you, K-Dot. So, but at least you'll see just things happen. I had a judge from Canada message me. He's like, "This is the craziest thing I've ever just seen and witnessed. It's insane." And for it to continue happening, I don't know. Are we gonna get a statement from USA Boxing? Yeah,
no.
Not. But you know what?
It's a lot of controversy, man. It's
a lot of controversy.
Eyebrows and all that.
Yeah.
And Kid, I apologize for making you hang around over here bickering about things like that. But it goes without saying. You got two fans right here. I think the talent is just. I keep on going back to it, and go ahead and chat. Go whoever's tuning in or watching this on replay. Go to the Instagram for K-Dot and see some of those clips. Just there's form, there's a lot of skill. There's you're defensively, you're very responsible. You make sure you go in and out, and just a lot of things that you would see on a boxer that's older. So it's just shout out to everybody who's helping you, and we're gonna see you again at in New Mexico. So we'll be excited to see that. So with that, I appreciate everybody tuning in to the only podcast solely dedicated to amateur boxing. We're gonna have Dylan Colon on Thursday, and that's it. We got more coming up soon enough. We'll see the tournament. We got Olympics this year. A lot of stuff's happening, so we're kicking off the year right. But with that, I'll let you guys go.
All right, take care. Make sure I get my shirt. Make sure I get my shirt.
Yeah. Hey, I need a shirt too. It can't take 4 years, man. I'll probably be a bigger size by then. So
I got you. I'll DM me all your sizes, and I'll let y'all know. Thank you for having me.
Sure.
Take it easy.